Frequent Miler on the Air starts now. Today's main event is booking vacations for families. How do you get four or more people into a little hotel room when they often only allow two or three people? First, of course, we're gonna dip into the giant mailbag and see what kind of feedback we have for this week. You can actually make
I'll have
noise.
the lucky
Nick.
winner. I did. I went,
I know you made sound effects, but you
So,
didn't say
yeah,
anything
sort
yet.
of.
All right.
You're right. I didn't say it. I'm here. I'm here, guys. I'm watching the
Nick
mailbag.
is here.
I
It's not
carried
me.
the mailbag in.
That's right. He was busy.
Right.
This week's mail is from Abbas. I guess that's how you
Abbas?
say it. Abbas.
Right. Seems like a good guess to me.
Abbas says, "Love your podcasts. Very enjoyable, funny, and insightful. Enjoy listening during long rides, much to the chagrin of my wife and two kids." I just love that. He loves our show so much that
he tortures the wife and kids with it.
Well, yeah, and hearing complaints from them is less painful than not listening to our show.
I like it. I'm a big fan of Abbas. I'll say that right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So going on, he says, talking about my wife and two kids, here is a question for you. As bad as it is trying to find 4 premium class tickets on flights, I'm now having as bad a time finding standard hotel awards allowing all of us to stay in one room. Are you getting an idea why I picked this one for this episode? Yeah.
It seems to fit. There's a theme going on.
There's a theme, yeah. He says, either I have to book 2 award rooms or pay for a family premium room at exorbitant.
You got it.
Wow, that was hard to say. Exorbitant rates. And in parens, he says, check out Hilton for Conrad Tokyo occupancy of 3 versus occupancy of 4. It is truly mind-boggling. You won't believe your eyes. Now that, as an aside, so when you're looking specifically at awards with Hilton, what happens is as soon as you leave the standard room award price, you get into that specialty award pricing that they have.
Premium room award.
Which is going to be mind-boggling most of the time. Crazy. So that's what's happening there. Anyway, my oldest just turned 14, so I may have another year or two before needing to book 2 rooms or go the Airbnb route. You would think that most hotel chains would change their business strategies to move away from solo business traveler and accommodate traveling families. Question: how have you handled the hotel booking for a family of 4? So I know this isn't question answer time, but that question is so easy for, I think, both of us to answer right now.
It really is. I haven't.
And neither have I. So I have a family of 3, and
I have a family of 3 and maybe a half. I don't know what you call it, 3/4. We got like 6 weeks to go. Yeah. So I haven't had to book for 4 yet.
Right.
Just 3 so
far. But we're going to do our best. Having no knowledge whatsoever about how to really do this, we're going to do our best further on in the show to answer that question, right?
We sure are. Yeah, I mean, it's a good piece of feedback. It's one we get.
We pretend we know what we're talking about.
Right. Like we've done this before or helped somebody with it anyway. But yeah, people ask all the time. It's a good question, and it's definitely something worth addressing. So actually, I don't know if we're going to talk about this later. So let me say the first thing that I thought of when you were talking about the difference in rate between 3 people and 4 people.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that going from 2 to 3 also. I'm sure you have too, Greg, in places when I know you've mentioned it before, having difficulty.
Less common going from 2 to 3, but yeah.
But sometimes maybe in Europe, that kind of thing. Yeah. And so, I mean, one technique that I think is always worth giving a shot is booking. If you run into that situation, book for 3 and then reach out to the hotel directly to ask them, tell them you have another person, a 4th person, want to know what you can do, blah, blah, blah. I approached it that way a number of times because I ran into places, even just 2 of us looking to add a 3rd when our son was under 2 years old, it would add a bunch of money for the 3rd person. And so I just looked for 2 almost every time and then sent a message to the hotel and said, hey, I'm going to need a crib because we're traveling with my son also. And I didn't get charged for him in any of those instances. And in fact, I've written before that I've heard from others that have said that individual hotel properties have told them that they don't actually have an additional fee for the kids, but when you book online, Marriott adds it or Hilton adds it or whatever chain adds it. And so they said the only people who pay that fee are the people who book online for the extra person and choose to pay it. The hotel doesn't actually charge it themselves. So that's just a tip if you are looking to book that 3rd or 4th person, that you might just want to try and book whatever it is you can and drop back 10 yards and punt later on. In my case, I figured if I show up with an infant, nobody's going to turn me away, right? They're going to figure out a way for me to
right.
stay there.
But if you have 2 teen kids, it might be a little
might
different.
be harder. Yeah.
But
I'd probably email in advance.
Yeah, I mean, along those lines, I mean, I do know that it often does make sense to book the standard award rate, which is for maybe a 2 or 3 person room, but contact them and just ask. Maybe they would charge you a small daily fee to move up to the next category room or something like that, but it'd probably be well worth it compared to paying for 2 rooms.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and that's another great tip too, that express interest in what it is that you want. And sometimes, you'll get a great deal on that upgrade to a larger suite that'll accommodate everybody. Sometimes you'll get a really nice surprise. I had that, I don't know, a little over a year ago at the Conrad Fort Lauderdale, where I sent an email in advance and I said, I'm wondering how much it would be to upgrade to this bigger 3-bedroom or 2-bedroom. I can't remember what it was, a larger residence sort of a thing, because it's a family trip and I was booking multiple rooms and wanted to see if I could pay. And I made it very clear that I was willing to pay and wanted to know how much. And they wrote back and said that they were able to, upgrade us complimentary well in advance of the stay. So,
yeah.
Nice surprise.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But so, what I was thinking for Abbas, and that what I really wanted to do for this show is stop talking about points and miles at all and talk about stuff that his family wants to hear about, because they're stuck in the darn car with him listening to apparently he controls the media in the car, and that's just not fair. So
see, I have no idea what his 14-year-old kid wants to hear about.
The problem.
Though, right? I don't know.
Otherwise, we would have
completely
subverted the show and talked all about Pokemon or whatever.
Right.
But we don't know.
And even mentioning Pokemon demonstrates how little we know. I'm not even sure if a 14-year-old has heard of Pokemon at this point. So it was popular a ways back. Although maybe they have. I don't know. It's either we don't know.
We don't know. Right.
So what are we gonna? What do you?
So it's time for what crazy thing has Citi done this week?
Well, Citi didn't really do anything particularly notable on their own this week, but I thought it was really interesting that this week I saw headlines in the major mass media about mass credit card shutdowns, about issuers in general closing cards. And that's something that we've seen. I keep seeing reports periodically, anecdotal reports of people getting accounts closed for inactivity, not being open. Obviously, issuers in general are tightening up. I mean, we've also heard anecdotally that a lot of cards have been more difficult to get. Just last week in my family, we opened a premium rewards card with Bank of America, and it took days before that was approved. And it was eventually automatically approved without having to make a phone call. But it wasn't an instant approval, which was a surprise in the situation. Although I say a surprise, it shouldn't be that much of a surprise when it's in the major mass media that issuers are closing accounts because of the pandemic and the fact that they're just concerned about consumer debt and people not having jobs and the economy. So I think that's kind of a crazy notable thing, because our hobby is usually confined to blogs about miles and points. I mean, the rest of Abbas's family is like, the only time I ever hear about this stuff is when I'm in the car with you, Dad. They're not
right.
Not here. But this week, they might have seen a headline somewhere about credit cards, and that's just something that doesn't always make the news. So that's a crazy thing. It's not Citi specific, but issuer in general. So you want to make sure that you're keeping your cards active, first of all. Definitely recommend making sure that you're putting a charge on at least every 6 months or so, because that's one of the triggers that often leads to an automatic closure of an account. And also, obviously, I think we all just need to be prepared that issuers are tightening the belt and may clamp down some. So something to keep in mind.
As you're talking, I actually forgot that this happened to my wife, and it happened with Citibank. So she had a few cards that were downgraded way back when from probably the Premier card, and they just outright canceled them about 2 months ago, I think. Now this sort of flows into confession time.
Confession time. We get a double this week. We get both feedback and a confession. All right, great.
2 for 1. What I realized, I'm kind of sweating a little as I'm thinking about this. I did not check her thank you account to see did she lose any thank you points as a result of this happening, because I should have done something about it right away as soon as the card was canceled, and now it might be too late. After the show, I'll have to go check, but I don't know if I'll be able to tell. That when things are pulled together, it's all a big morass. You can't really tell. But if we log on to her account and see any points that are expiring, then we'll know it's because of that, and that I caught it in time.
Right. So, and if you don't see any points expiring, then you missed something. You just have no idea how many it was.
Well, I mean, hopefully I do try to keep, whenever we use points, I try to use them out of her account, because I don't have my eyes as much on her account as my own. And so there's a decent chance that she didn't have any. But boy, I'll be kind of pissed if it turns out there were a lot. So I'm kind of hoping that if there were a lot, that I just never find out.
Well,
I won't have to worry about it.
In other words, hopefully there will not be confession time next week, guys. Hopefully there's a one-time confessional.
Exactly.
Exactly. So. All right. Well, so that brings us through the crazy thing that he didn't do and confession time. And so I guess that probably brings us to the main topic, right?
No.
Did I skip over something?
Well, wait a minute. No, I'm forgetting the order now. Does Mattress Running the Numbers come before or after the main event?
We've been doing it after the main event, but there's not a rule here. I mean, it's our show, so we could do Mattress Running the Numbers right now. You know what? I vote that we do that.
Let's do
Mattress
it.
Running the Numbers, new segment. There should be some music here and a little effect.
So,
or something.
Like the standard music people play when they talk about Mattress Running. So this actually came out a few weeks ago. Choice Cambria Hotels, which is their sort of upper middle range hotels. So they're nicer than your average, but they're not luxury, right?
Yeah, I mean, I remember you had that picture, like the magic mirror at the one at LAX.
Yeah,
right?
I enjoyed that place. Yeah, I stayed at the Cambria Inn right by the LAX airport, and it had a magic mirror. So Google that. Frequent Miler, Cambria, magic mirror. I'm sure that
you could probably even leave out frequent Miler, and I bet it'll be on the first page of Google results when you look up Cambria magic mirror.
I hope so.
But
right, okay. So now they're having a deal where if you stay 2 times, you get 20,000 choice points. And we've talked before how under the right circumstances, choice points can be pretty darn valuable.
Yeah. They can.
And so the question is this Mattress Run worthy? Should we book cheap Cambria stays, single one night cheap stays, and get those 20,000 points? So let's say you can find a $80 hotel, nearby. Check in 2 separate times. Would you do that? Let's say with taxes, it comes to about $90. Would you do that to get the 20,000 choice points?
I mean, if I didn't have any choice points already, then yes, I would. Or if I had I don't know, if I now and then find good choice deals, maybe. I mean, if you're talking 80 or $90, you're talking less than half a cent per point. That's pretty good for chase points. If you buy, or not chase, choice points rather. If you buy choice points with the cash and points trick, I think it comes out to 3/4 cent per point, if I remember correctly.
Okay, your math needs a little help because you have to do 2 stays to get the 20,000
points. Oh, it's 2
points.
stays. Oh no, definitely. I'm sorry. I was thinking
it's really almost
right.
a penny a point that you're paying.
No.
0.9.
Never mind. I was thinking 1 stay. No, definitely I wouldn't then, because you can buy them via the cash and points trick for 3/4 cent per point. So yeah, you definitely wouldn't want to make 2 stays at that rate if you could get your 2 stays.
Right.
For $100.
And for anybody who doesn't know it, like Abbas kids in the back seat,
right.
The cash and points trick is you book you book a choice stay for, let's say, 5,000 points and $30 instead of paying the 10,000 points. Those numbers aren't exactly right, but the idea is that then when you cancel that booking, instead of getting back the $30 or $60, whatever the copay was, you get back more points. So you get back more points than you initially started with. And so that's a way to buy points quite cheaply. And it's a great way to do it if you find a great award. Like like, there are times where points are worth well over a penny each. And so you can then buy them, and actually it'd be a lot cheaper to book your stay with points by buying the points this indirect way, and then enjoy it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Which, by the way, you can transfer from Amex membership rewards points to Choice. So you can do that, but you don't want to do that because you could buy the Choice points for 3/4 of a cent a point.
Right.
Now you might want to move over if you have 0 Choice points. You may want to move over the 6,000 or whatever it is, the minimum you need in order to do the cash and points trick. But do me a favor and don't do what I did last year. Don't transfer over more than 6,000 points because you can buy the rest of them.
Right. Didn't you already do a confession time on that?
I did. So we're not even gonna go into that again. I don't even want to remember that. So yeah. So that's the moral of the story. Don't check into Cambria. Buy the points.
So that's
thumbs
Mattress.
Down.
That's Mattress running the numbers. Thumbs. I mean, no, I don't give. So yes, for Mattress running, it's thumbs.
For Mattress running, it's
for a promo, it's good. I mean, it is. It comes close to paying for itself for a cheap stay. So it's.
Oh, it does.
It's a very good promo.
If Europe ever lets Americans back in again, Choice points are really valuable in Europe, and especially in Scandinavia and Northern Europe. I mean, you can get great value out of 20,000 points in that part of the world. So, so it could be well worth Mattress running. Maybe I say Mattress running. Be well worth taking advantage if you have to stay anyway. I should say Mattress. You have to stay anyway. Well worth taking advantage of the promo, but yeah, not.
If you're choosing between a couple properties and one of them's like Cambria, and you're going to do 2 separate stays, I don't know who's going to be in that position, especially these days. Right. All right, moving on to the main event.
You know what? Wait. Before we move on, so let me ask you this. Let me tag a question onto this, because now I thought of another scenario.
We can't get away from this.
No,
I thought this was going to be the fastest Mattress running the numbers ever, because I thought we'd totally agree on everything and it'd be on.
I mean, we have so it's okay. People enjoy the banter, Greg. Let's let me ask you a different situation, because you're right. I mean, who in their right mind right now in the current situation has 2 random stays where Cambria happens to work? So let's pretend for a second that you had one of those random stays where a Cambria fit your plans, right?
Yeah.
So you were staying for work, you were staying to see family, whatever it is. You had one of those stays where you booked. Now, is it worth Mattress running a second stay? If you're halfway to the promo,
then it is. That's a good scenario, because assuming you can get a stay for less than about $100, you're actually getting a very good price for those points. So now, to some degree, though, it depends on how many points you earned on that first stay, because the way they do Choice is so weird in so many ways. Sometimes that benefits us, sometimes it hurts us, and in this way, it kind of hurts. Which is, instead of giving you a flat 20,000 point bonus, what they do is they say, we're going to give you more points based on whatever you already earned, so that you'll be up to 20,000 points. So if you got 10,000 points on that first stay, you're only going to get 10,000 more on the second stay, no matter how many. And so even if the second stay you would have earned 5,000 points because of the normal program, then you're only getting 5,000 bonus points over. So it really depends. So if you earned very few on the first day, then the answer is definitely yes. Right. Wow, there's no easy answer here. There are a lot of ifs. A lot of
what have you? Yeah, a lot of ins and outs.
99.99% of our audience, it's not worth Mattress running, right?
Glossed their eyes over on that one. They were like, they heard Choice points, Greg, and they were like,
that's right. They pressed that little jump forward 30 and realized that's not enough. Jump forward 30 again.
Right.
Okay.
Thanks to Abbas and his kids for having to listen to that one there. So and wife. So thank you very much for listening in, because it was me, you, Greg, and everybody else skipped past. So skipping past, then
I'm still hoping one of his kids takes over his account and messages us what he or she actually likes, so that we can, help them out next time. Anyway,
it's cool. Yeah. All right. So on to the main event, so to speak, today. The main event. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
We're now going to talk about something we know nothing about.
Booking for 4 people. This week, I think in general, that's a topic of interest right now. And I say that, I guess I should say what the topic is, right? The topic is booking some sort of vacation rentals, right? Finding a way to book places that are going to fit multiple people and be, kind of isolated from others and that sort of thing. So the main event here is talking about that. How do we book places for families using points, whether that's rental properties, whether that's suites, whether that's condos or Airbnb type things. So what do you think, Greg? What are your ideas? So if you got a family of 4, a family of 6, a family of 8, whatever it might be, and you're looking to get away this year and you're not necessarily interested in staying at the Cambria Suites, what do you recommend? What are some of the options?
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, your post that you put together has a great selection of options. So I think we should, touch on each of those real quick. But first, let's talk about the traditional hotel chains and what's kind of possible there. And so, as you know, I've been writing a lot about Hyatt suites, how you could book the Hyatt premium suites. And so, for example, there's that 3-bedroom royal residence.
If your family has been looking for a road trip to Zanzibar.
To Zanzibar, right. That's not applicable to most people's summer travel right now. But
not
it's
really a road trip.
It's an example that one room for only 30,000 points a night allows 7 people. It has almost twice as many square feet as my house.
It's incredible. That's amazing. At 30,000 points a night.
Right.
Amazing.
Right. Yeah, it's insane. So the point is, there are situations where you can book suites at reasonable rates, and there are situations where those suites allow for multiple people. So there's some in Florida, for example, where some of those premium suites with Hyatt that have 2 bedrooms. Other ones, it's kind of funny that it is true. Most of them have the same rules as regular rooms. That is 3 adults. That's the rule. In looking across all these things, and these are 1,000+ square foot suites. I mean, do you know how big that is?
Huge.
It's huge. So if you look at the pictures of my giant suite at the Ventana Big Sur, I had this enormous suite. That was not 1,000 feet. That was, according to the website, that's 760 or 770. So that would not qualify for one of the premium suites that I picked to highlight in these posts, because it's just not big enough based on that quality. So my point is that you could put 3 families in one of these things. The question is whether the hotel would allow it. And so that, so you could book one of these and then contact the hotel and say, hey, I have more than, the 3 people or whatever. Is that okay? And chances are most of them are going to be like, well, of course, it's enormous. Why are you even asking me?
Most people just throw the party and don't ask us.
and a lot of these are like apartment. They have kitchen. A lot of them have kitchens, and usually there's 2 bathrooms. And so anyway, that's one approach. It mainly works well with Hyatt because they have a fixed award chart for their suites. And so even when suites are 10 times more costly in dollars, it's only double the cost in points. And so that's a good way to go for a big
double the cost in points for the premium suites, and the regular standard suites are even less than double.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah. That's it. And funny, that place in Zanzibar. So, we're laughing about it because right now it's obviously not going to be on anybody's docket for the near term.
Right.
But one of the things that came to my mind when I saw that was an FTU a couple of years ago. There was a speaker who said that on his honeymoon, he spent 30 nights at the Park Hyatt Maldives. He said that he had saved up a whole bunch of Chase points.
Wow.
And decided he really wanted to have a unique experience for the honeymoon. They spent 30 nights there. He said it was really unique because they really got to know the staff, and kind of felt more like, one of the family, so to speak, and build some relationships, and had a very unique experience in a place where most people go for 4, 5, 6, 7 nights or something like that. And so I thought about that place in Zanzibar, and I was like, can you imagine 30 nights in the royal residence there? I mean, that'd be not a bad way to spend a month, I guess. I mean, you'd need 900,000 points or whatever. So not very realistic for most folks, probably. But I'm sure there's a couple of listeners out there, though, that have 1 million Chase points. And, those folks, I look at something like that and I say, that would be pretty wild.
Yeah. But don't forget, there are some enormous suites, even in the U.S., the one in Albuquerque, the presidential suite, enormous, only 10,000 points a night.
10,000.
You really could stay there a month if you wanted to.
300,000 points. I mean, yeah, a month. And so you could move to one of those suites for a month. Yeah. I mean, and especially right now, probably more and more people working from home. Obviously, more and more people are back at work now, but I have to imagine it seems like a lot of people have been able to work remotely now. It might be kind of an interesting way to have some different scenery, different walls to look at some point. So yeah, I'm
Right.
intrigued by the premium suites for something like that too, especially having a mobile lifestyle where I work online. That's kind of intriguing to me.
Okay,
The idea
but
check out another suite. But
that's
we're
kind
getting
of
off the path.
that is kind of off topic because it's kind of an exception. Like sometimes that'll work for you, but what you really want, or what's more realistic, is booking a vacation rental or a timeshare condo type of thing using points, which is possible, as you showed. You want to kind of summarize what are some of the better
Yeah.
options anyway?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this during the live broadcast earlier this week when the question had come up about using points to book vacation rentals and that sort of thing. And really, the best option right now, bar none, is going to be using Chase points, and that's whether you're using them through the Chase portal because you have the Sapphire Reserve and you can get 1.5 cents a point. There are some vacation rentals there now. I've definitely heard from a number of people that they've had a hard time finding any that are available. A couple that I tried were available, but I'm sure that there are some that aren't coming up available. So that's one method. Or the
Is
other
that
method,
just because they're all booked up because they're so
I
popular
don't,
right now?
I've
Or
heard it so many times though now, since
okay,
before this began, that
got
I
it.
have a feeling that it just seems like the Chase portal is run by Expedia, and so it's displaying Expedia inventory, and it seems like there must be something that's not translating. And I should say, actually, on that note, that I talked about using Southwest points, which I'll get back to in a second. And I found that in the Southwest results, there was one place after another that showed me the cost per point or per night and the cost overall. But when you click through to go to book it, it said there were no rooms available,
Oh,
even though
well,
it gave me like prices.
that's kind of unfriendly.
It is. So, and that, that was connected with Chase too. So maybe there's something funny going on there. At any rate, the other way to use Chase points right now is, of course, to cash out, so to speak, via the grocery store or home improvement stores or that sort of thing. Because right now you can pay yourself back at 1.5 cents a point using your Chase points. So you can go to the grocery store or home improvement store, buy some Airbnb gift cards, and erase that purchase at 1.5 cents each, or buy Visa gift cards or something like that if you want to be able to use those, or manufacturer spend, etc. 1.5 cents a point is pretty good because I said, if you want to spend $2,000 on a week vacation rental somewhere, you're looking at 133,000 points, 19,000 points a night. Talking about category 5 Hyatt type of a price. Potentially book a vacation rental at $285 a night. I mean, of course,
And
obviously,
you're probably getting multiple bedrooms. You're probably getting a washer and dryer. You're probably getting a kitchen. All those conveniences that are great to have with the family.
Right. And you can go up or down depending on where you want to go and what vacation rentals cost in those kind of places. But I think it's pretty reasonable to expect that for less than 20,000 points a night, you can probably get yourself a pretty nice vacation rental in a lot of places if you cash those points out. So you can cash out for gift cards, just buy your groceries and toss the money aside, whatever. That's your best bet, probably. But then I went through some of the other options that you have using points, because there are some other ways to book vacation rentals. You can book Blue Green Vacations properties with choice privileges points, and those Blue Green Vacation properties tend to be more like timeshare type properties. So you're looking at condos that are maybe 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom, etc. One of the nice things about the choice privileges program is that for, with no rhyme or reason, really, for some reason of some sort, it seems that many properties, not all of them, but at many properties, you can book any room for the same number of points. So you book the standard room that fits 2 people or the 3-bedroom suite for the same number of points very often. And that happens to be the case with some of the Blue Green Vacation Rentals properties, although I couldn't find any of them showing any availability when I went to search to write the post. So I don't know if that's a COVID thing or what, but I literally couldn't find a single night available at any of them right now. I know they have been available, and they've been kind of one of those hidden gems that family travelers have known about, but a lot of other people haven't been in.
So what you're saying is the best options are completely unavailable. So booking through the Chase portal, best option, you won't find anything.
Choice points,
Choice points,
not going to do it.
Great option.
Right.
Just
great
not
option
there.
if you could, but it doesn't seem to be there right now. So I'm going to stay at a Blue Green Vacations place tomorrow. Good luck to you. So that's another option. And then a third option that I found that was kind of interesting is you can use Wyndham points to book a number of different vacation rentals. Now, we talked on Tuesday about their partnership with cottages.com.
Yep.
Cottages.com only has properties in Europe, so that's not particularly useful for those looking to stay in the US this year. However, they also have Wyndham vacation rentals. So, and that is through some site I've never heard of that I can't, Vacasa or something like that.com. So they have this partnership. Now you can use 15,000 points per bedroom per night. That's Wyndham points. You could transfer from Capital One to Wyndham. It's 2 to 1.5 if you're transferring that way. So 20,000 Capital One points per night. Questionable value, but maybe you'll find something good. So that's a possibility. I did see some cool looking places when searching there. However, the gotcha on that one is that the terms say that blackout dates apply, and it says that blackout dates are determined by the price of the room. Essentially, what they said is when it's really expensive, you're not going to be able to use your points. So they didn't set a bar as to where that cutoff is, but somewhere there is a cutoff, which I imagine is probably different by each property, depending on how much the property owners are willing to take whatever it is that Wyndham reimburses them for the 15,000 points per night. So you have to call in to find out what's available with that. Kind of annoying.
You know, the good thing about situations where you have to call in is there's more likely to be like a gem that no one's found. And so you never know. Like
it's true.
That incredible Wyndham promotion with cottages.com several years back, you know, it was like a couple days after it started, and they said they were only doing 50 of
40,
those,
40 or 50 or something. Yeah.
And so, you know, I didn't even think there was like a chance in the world that it was still open, and then you were able to book a 9-bedroom mansion for 15,000 points a night. Now that's a promo that's not available anymore, but the idea, and then I was able to do the same, but only an 8-bedroom mansion, but
only.
But where was I going? Oh, just the idea is, I think that lasted. I mean, partly because a lot of people didn't have Wyndham points, but also partly because you had to call to book there. You couldn't just do it online. And so I think a lot of people, because you couldn't tell whether it was still available online, they just kind of gave up, just like actually I was going to do.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I was ready to give up right away too. And I saw the post and I thought, oh, I don't have time to do it right now. It's going to be gone. And then I went back to it a little bit later because I think it was Angelina Travels where I had seen it originally. And I saw a comment from not that long, you know, just a little while before, so to speak, that said somebody had booked it. And I was like, it can't possibly still be available. And I called and yeah, sure enough, it was. So,
right.
So yeah, that's definitely a good point. And, you know, the thing is with Wyndham, with those vacation rentals, it's 15,000 points per bedroom per night. And so you can actually, after you click through, sort places by the number of bedrooms. And so that's how I ended up someplace in Tennessee. I used some example in the post in Tennessee. It was like Pigeon Cove, Pigeon Lodge, Pigeon Hole. I don't know, Pigeon something or other. I can't remember what it is.
Pigeon Forge, probably.
Pigeon Forge. There you go, in Tennessee. There it is. It's near Dollywood, I think, and that kind of thing. Okay, so I'm not that familiar with that part of Tennessee, but I knew Dollywood at least. So anyway, in Pigeon Forge there, I was able to sort it by number of bedrooms, and so I found a place that's a full cabin that's 1 bedroom. So I assume it's 15,000 points. So
right.
Might be a deal.
So that's probably great for a family with like toddler babies where they want to be in the same room. Not great when you got teenagers that want to be in their own room.
That place did say that it sleeps 6 though. It's got 1 bedroom, but I think it was like a loft sort of a situation, with probably a sofa bed and that sort of thing. So I mean, they had a pool table and a foosball table and stuff like that. So it looked like it was big enough that you had kids that are willing to sleep on a couch or an air mattress or something. It would probably be doable for a few people. So okay, that was Wyndham's another option.
Right.
And let's see, we talked about Southwest points, which is a terrible option. But if you got a lot of Southwest points and you don't plan on flying anytime soon, you could take a look. They did have vacation rentals. And again, very similar to Wyndham, you could sort and look by cabin or chalet or condo, depending on what style you wanted, or hotel, etc. So I did the same kind of thing looking at cabins and found a horrible deal for the same cabin that I showed available through Chase Ultimate Rewards for a lot more Southwest points than it would cost you in Ultimate Rewards. But there were some places where there were multiple bedrooms. I included a place with 3 king beds and a twin bunk bed for 54,000 Southwest points a night. Way more Southwest points than I would spend per night. But if you picked up a couple of credit cards, and again, if you're not planning on flying for a while, maybe because of this whole COVID thing, maybe that would appeal to you. So you could use Southwest points. Somebody also mentioned you can use Accor points. Is that how you say it? Accor?
I don't think we know. We
ALL,
debated that
all.
before, so, and I know that neither of us knew.
Right. No, nobody knows. It's some like it's a French company or something,
Accord.
right? So a cour live limitless. So you can use your points apparently. And I had actually tried to look into this, and I didn't find where it told me that you could use the points, because I knew that I could transfer Capital One points to them. So, and I also knew that those points are worth a fixed amount generally. So it sounds like that actually could be a good deal. I didn't write about it in the post, but you can see the comment. It's through onefinestay.com, I think is what it is. That's their timeshare rental sort of place. I looked at the website, and there's some ritzy looking, sort of apartment places that you can rent through them. And I think the point value is not bad, 1.53 cents a point, I think. And so if you're transferring from Capital One, I mean, it's not amazing. It's not great, because I think it's a 2-to-1 transfer ratio, but it's an option. So that's another possibility. What am I missing? Those are the ones that come to mind right away.
Yeah, I don't remember any others.
I
So,
think that's it.
so Hilton doesn't have any secret timeshare type thing that you could use points for, or
I mean,
IHG?
not that I found. And I say that there are probably some exceptions. Like I know IHG, for instance, I remember looking a couple of years ago, and in uh, um, Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, they had a property that was like an apartment hotel. It was an Intercontinental that was an apartment hotel. So it was an Intercontinental branded, but each room was a total apartment with a kitchen and a washer and dryer and modern appliances, front load washer and dryer and that sort of thing. So you might find some individual properties like that. Or I mentioned the Conrad Fort Lauderdale, where we had stayed, and that place has 1-bedroom apartment sort of places with a full kitchen and all the stuff you need to cook and that sort of thing. So there are some individual properties you might find like that, but I didn't spend a lot of time looking for those types of places, because I figured that a lot of people who are looking for vacation rentals are probably not looking to get in the elevator with other guests and be that confined with other people. So I
Right.
didn't talk as much about those kind of things. Though if you're comfortable with that, going and staying at a hotel, and you've got a family, we've mentioned recently, and mentioned again, the Hyatt family rate could be your friend. So that's a possibility to book one room and then get a second room for half off the regular rate with the Hyatt family rate. If you Google frequent miler Hyatt family rate, you'll find my post about that from a couple of years ago. So that can be a way to potentially save some money. But I'm not aware of anything else, not that I know of
Yeah.
anyway, or
You
found with
you
Hilton
know
and
what?
IHG.
You're talking about the Intercontinental thing reminded me of something, another thing Hyatt has, which is they bought the destination chain, and a lot of those are residence type. They're called like destination residence or something like that. I forget exactly, but
Yeah.
those are, a lot of them are standalone units, just like a vacation rental, and probably very, very nice. And that's different from, they don't show up as premium suites, but they're probably a lot of times as bigger or bigger than premium suites, because they're actually intended for exactly that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I mean that's definitely something else, and when you start looking at that sort of thing, there are some other like Marriott's vacation clubs. Some of those I know, like you wrote about the one in Kauai, right? And it was like I think you did,
Right,
and
right.
I went to
Yep.
stay at a different one in Kauai that again was an apartment style, sort of 2-bedroom suites with a kitchen and that sort of thing. So there are some individual places. I didn't go through the different major chains to look for
Right.
those. I was looking more so for vacation rental places. Another tip I didn't put in the post, but might be worth checking, is something like Amex Fine Hotels and Resorts. I stayed a couple years ago at the what was it, the Stowe Mountain Inn, the Stowe Mountain Lodge, the Stowe something or other, which is like a ski resort
Yeah.
that you could book those rooms via timeshare rental sort of places. People own the timeshares. You can book a
Right.
week or a few nights or whatever from the owners, or you can book it directly through the lodge itself. And you could also, of course, book through Fine Hotels and Resorts, and then you get yourself a resort credit, some other benefits that might be worthwhile too. But I didn't note that in the post, because I was looking more so at ways to use points rather than cash.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good overview, and I think you're focusing more on vacation rentals. It makes a lot of sense, because a lot of people who are road tripping aren't necessarily going to the places that have the timeshares and the hotels that are like timeshares, that kind of thing. So being able to rent from individuals basically, or gives us a lot more options.
Yeah, I mean, I think chase points are the way to go in that in general right now. And a tip that I didn't note in the post, but if you're booking through Airbnb, something that I picked up from, was it Scott at Mile Value a couple of years ago, was that, and it might be harder to do in the current environment, but it's worth negotiating. Send a message to the host ahead of time. I've been surprised. I didn't even know you could do that before I heard him say something about it. And now every time we stayed in an Airbnb, I've messaged ahead of time, and I don't think I've paid the sticker price yet on an Airbnb these last couple of years since I got that tip from him. Now, sometimes it's a really small discount. They might only give you like 5% off or something, but hey, I mean, I prefer that 5% to be in my pocket. So
Right.
I'm happy to do that when I can. So it's worth asking. Send a message and see.
Yeah. Yeah. And another trick is that often the same property is also listed on VRBO and other sites like that. And in my experience, they're usually cheaper on the other sites. I mean, I haven't done any kind of like broad survey of that, but
No.
unless you're getting a good discount on the Airbnb gift cards, you might be better off going through a different channel. So
There you go. There you go. So lots of different options there too. So, and I haven't really done much on those other different sites. I mean, I used another one that I'm not even sure if it exists anymore. It was at Home Away. I think they were folding that into VRBO or something like that. There was another one that was run by TripAdvisor a few years ago. So there are some other vacation rental-y sites where you may be able to find something
right.
like that. And again, always worth asking and see if you can get a little bit of a discount. Never know.
Yeah, no, definitely. Also, a lot of those properties are managed by a sort of management company that manages a lot of properties, and usually that management company has a website where they'll rent the stuff, and so you might see better prices that way. So a lot of things. One last thing, a tip for if you want to stay in a timeshare cheaply. There are websites where timeshare owners will rent out their timeshares, and I find that to be like way cheaper than going through, like, let's say it's Marriott or whatever, way cheaper than going through them.
Yeah, and you mentioned that, and that makes me think of the fact that I know, and I don't know anything about this, so I'll just plant the idea for the people who don't know about it. You'll have to do your own research, but I know you can also rent Disney points from Disney timeshare owners to get a discount on Disney places, right?
Yeah. So if you want to go to Florida right now,
well, not right now, probably.
No, but in the future you might.
In the future, at some point down the road.
Okay. So that's the main event, and we're on to post roast.
Post roast.
I don't know who's going to go first this time. Are you
new set? Well, I'm talking so that I figured if I kept talking, then maybe I could throw it onto you really quick.
All right, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, so post roast, our new segment where we pick apart somebody else's posts. So somebody else's usually being Greg's or mine, I guess. Each other's posts.
It would usually be, right. Because it would be it'd be kind of mean of us to roast Steven. He's not here to defend himself.
It'd be kind of fun though, maybe, but
maybe
I don't have anything to roast.
No, yeah.
No, okay. We'll see. We'll see what you do, Stephen Pepper. Watch out.
Maybe we should roast some random other blogs post. I was reading this on View from the Wing, and we're already changing the format, the whole format. We just introduced it last week.
So post roast. So I wrote some stuff this week. Greg wrote some stuff, and he is about to tell you why he thinks I'm crazy for whatever it is that I wrote this week.
So you wrote about Capital One.
I did.
And you have an old card where you've been paying like $39 a year and
for the Capital One.
And didn't you like confess about that last week or 2 weeks ago? I forget how. I don't remember the whole story.
I confessed it on the air. I confessed it to you.
Was it just to me personally?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Now it's public.
So you've been trying to figure out what to do about this thing for a while now.
Yeah.
And
on my mind.
Then you did a ton of research and you wrote a whole post about what your options are. And then you said, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. So my roast isn't really about anything specific you wrote as much as like get to take a stand, right? If you're gonna do that much work, like just decide already and tell us why.
Well, I mean, I think I'm gonna. I haven't done it.
See, there he goes again. he's not saying what he's going to do. He's like,
okay, fine. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade it to the venture card. And I know that nobody is gonna support me in that decision. So it's not a good decision. It's not a decision I would recommend to anybody else.
So let me ask. The only reason I could see, I mean, I read your reasons, but the only reason that makes sense to me is if you're counting on the referral bonuses.
Well, right. I mean, I mean, that's obviously half the reason, because I mean, if I can get 5 of them, that's $500. That's plenty of reason for me to keep the venture card. So, I mean, that's certainly the heavier reason of the two, I guess I would say. I mean, that would cover the annual fee for years to come, and if I can get them to waive it a couple of times, then I'd be covered for quite a few years. Theoretically anyway. So yeah, I mean, that's half of the reason. I'm in a really unique position in that regard. Obviously, I work for the blog here, and so I have the ability to use my referral link. So that's part of it.
And I think that's totally legitimate, that you have this opportunity. And
so I mean, that's why I said I wouldn't recommend it to most people, because most people aren't going to be able to get 5 referrals for the Capital One venture. I don't even know if I'm going to get 5 referrals for the venture card for sure.
And you especially wouldn't recommend it to people who are about to get the Bank of America Premium Rewards Platinum Honors situation where they're getting 2.62% back everywhere.
Right.
You wouldn't recommend it to them, and you're in that position. But
okay,
you would do it because you can get the referral bonus, which makes sense.
That's a big part of it. But I will actually say that there are a couple of reasons why I'm still interested in having the venture card, even though I'm going to have that 2.62% cash back on the premium rewards card here soon. I'm still interested in having the venture card because the gift cards for Marriott are still a slightly better deal, not enough of a better deal that I would use the Capital One card instead of the premium rewards card. However, in my case, do some manufactured spending. I haven't been lately, but I generally do some manufactured spending, and it's not usually a case of A or B. It's a case of I need to spread it over A and B.
Gotcha.
So I'm probably going to use both cards anyway, and then 2.8% back towards Marriott stays is a little bit better than 2.62% on the Bank of America Premium Rewards. Now, would I pick the venture card instead of the premium rewards for that? No, I wouldn't. But if I'm going to go to Simon Mall and buy $20,000 worth of gift cards or something, I'd split it 10 and 10. So I think that in that case, I'm probably going to keep a venture card, and it's much more convenient for me to have it. And then, of course, you have the mileage transfers as another possibility, which, again, I could get decent value out of. So not a play I recommend for most.
Right. And before we get a lot of mail about this, Nick is very aware that he could take the 2.62 and buy Marriott gift cards when they're on sale, like they are right now,
of course,
and do even better than he can do with the venture card. He's aware of that.
But there's only so. I mean, I can't.
There's only so much he could spend on the.
I have more capacity for spend than what Bank of America is probably going to let me get away with. So,
right.
So I may as well get a little bit of. So
very good. So moving on from post roast to the next thing.
No. We're not done here. This isn't over. Abbas's kids even know. They're even in the back. Like, wait a second. Nick gets a chance to roast Greg here. So,
all right. What do you have?
So this week, Greg wrote a post about what was like the fanciest Hyatt suites bookable with points in the U.S. Because, many of us are looking to travel within the U.S. this year, probably. Most of us probably aren't going to be able to travel internationally. So you took a look at the most interesting premium suites you can book with points. Now, I like the fact that you took a look at the most interesting suites. But Rochester, New York made the list of the most interesting. Like, you couldn't find a more interesting destination in Rochester, New York? I mean, no offense, Rock City, but come on, out of the entire United States, is that the best Hyatt could do? Was Rock City? I mean, what is there to do in Rochester?
So that's your roast? This suite.
Right.
Totally agree. I don't know anything about Rochester, but I mean, take a look at this suite. Off the top of my head, I think it was close to 3,000 square feet. Only
2,100.
21. All right. Well, still,
how you count.
That's still huge. It's got a pool table. It's got a huge outdoor balcony thingy. It costs, I think, 16,000 points a night, but I read that this hotel's going down to Category 1, so it's gonna cost 10,000 points a night in the future.
Oh, that's a pretty terrific find then. All right, so back on I live in New York State, of course, for anybody who doesn't know. So I have friends in Rochester, so I'm roasting Rochester lightly here too. But
there you go.
But
so
are you gonna? If it goes down,
so are you gonna book it? So you go visit your friends and stay in this awesome suite?
I mean, probably not this year, but in the future, yeah. Actually, funny enough, I chose to roast that one because this place had already been on my radar. Because you wrote about this place a while back.
I did.
Right? I mean, this isn't a post a long time ago. So I already knew it was there, and I had it kind of in mind. We normally stay with friends when we go out, but I had it in mind that one of these days I was going to book it, and we'd all kind of hang out and have the pool table and all the rest of that. So I'm kind of interested from that perspective. It was mentioned on Twitter. Some people may have seen that the Strong Museum is a great place for families. So if you've got kids and you like a children's museum, the Strong Museum is amazing. Best children's museum I've been to. Very surprisingly
I think
good.
Abbas's kids might be too old for it, though.
You know, I don't necessarily think so. There was there was a room with pinball machines, like a little pinball museum display, so to speak. Things for older kids too. So I mean, definitely aimed towards younger kids. And right now,
and the pool table will be fun for teens, I would think.
Yeah, I would think so. So Rochester, maybe Rochester after all.
And how cool would it be to be in a presidential suite like that, regardless, right?
You know,
regardless of where you are.
Glad you mentioned that because when I was doing the prep for the post I posted about the timeshare places, I came across a place where you could book the president. It was a two-bedroom presidential suite is what it said when I was in the search results. This was a choice point. Like a two-bedroom, I think it was choice point. Two-bedroom presidential. And I was like, whoa, the two-bedroom presidential. That sounds amazing.
Right.
Then I went to that particular place's individual website. Every room is a presidential suite. There's a one-bedroom presidential suite, two-bedroom presidential, three-bedroom. It's all presidential.
I love it.
Yeah, like great marketing there.
That is great marketing. Wow, I've been getting a kick as I've done. So I published both the best resorts in the U.S. and then worldwide, and now as I'm saying that the day before we're actually publishing it, but the day after this video and audio is released, so I believe that I will publish this. But anyway, the funny thing is, so we had looked into premium suites a year ago and written a post about it, about all the best finds we had found. And but now that we can book them online, it's much easier to go through and really identify all the ones that are out there. And what really surprised the heck out of me is that a lot of the most interesting ones we had already found. And so I expected to find, because we did sort of a scatter shot, like, look here, let me look there, whatever. Yet somehow, even when I did, very formal, like looking through all of them, I did find some, like the 3-bedroom royal residence.
That's a tongue twister. The 3-bedroom royal residence.
Royal residence. Some of are hilarious. The one in Morocco, which I had also found last time and re-uncovered this time, is now called the Yoga Studio Suite.
The Yoga that seems like they got a new marketing team. They went with Citi's marketing team, didn't they? Like, we know Citi, we know on the marketing team.
We know what happened to Citi's marketing team. Yeah, that's bizarre because I mean it looks like an elegant, gigantic suite in the pictures, and yoga studio. I don't see it.
Yoga's elegant. It's very. It's too elegant for me. So
that's why you don't do it.
That is. I'm glad we brought this up though, actually, because now that you mention it, that makes me want to go back to something when I was talking about those vacation rentals before. One thing that I found really interesting, and I have no idea whether there's going to be a great value to be found in this because I didn't do enough research on this yet. But the Park Hyatt Beaver Creek, I saw you had in there for its premium suites at $60K a night. And that's in Colorado. Famous, really well known, great looking spot. I haven't been there myself, but I've seen pictures from friends and things. It looks terrific. One thing that I found really interesting about booking through Southwest, and this is likely going to be true with Chase Points as well, that you could book just about any suite that's for sale using your points. So those premium suites with Hyatt, you are sometimes limited. You may not be able to book the presidential or the
That's right.
19 bedroom, whatever it is. Whereas keep in mind, if you're using Chase points through the portal, or maybe with Southwest, you might find a deal on one of those other crazy suites because you can book them all.
Right. No, that's a great point. And you could get a deal when they're less expensive.
Exactly, when they're less expensive.
Relative to how they normally would be priced, or maybe some places often price them within range, which I did find occasionally. Like sometimes I was surprised. Like I'd find like what sounds like an amazing suite and then look at the prices and say, wow, it's not, it's not more than twice what a standard room would be, which usually it's much more than twice.
Right. So there you go. So some interesting stuff to look at there. All right. So I think that brings us past post roast and into the question of the week, right?
I think you're right.
Okay. So the question
Did I answer that question correctly?
It wasn't the question of the week, but you got that one right. So the question of the week, actually, I'm going to cheat a little bit. This is it's really probably ought to be reader feedback. However, I'm going to turn it into a question.
All right. And then you can confess about it next week and we'll cover two birds with one stone or something.
I felt like this piece of feedback lent itself very well to a question. So,
is it from Abbas?
It is not. It's from Greg. But not this Greg.
Okay.
A different
Greg. Not me.
Greg Coman. Greg, who comments from time to time on the blog and commented on YouTube on the discussion we had recently on YouTube. And he was talking about the post you wrote about why there's no 2x points, or 2x earning cards in your wallet, although really I don't even feel like the meat of his comment had to do with that. He mentioned the Platinum card and how you can cash out points using the Schwab Platinum card. If you have the Schwab Platinum, then you can cash out membership rewards points at a value of 1.25 cents each. We've talked about that a few times recently.
Sure.
And so he said his problem with that method, and this was Steve, actually, he was commenting on Steve's comment that we talked about last week. Is what it
gotcha.
was.
Yes.
So he said, the problem with Steve's method is you have to spend $550 a year on a Platinum card. Ignoring the recent pandemic benefits, I find the value of the Amex Platinum cards to be well below the $550. Most of the benefits of those cards that you probably already have elsewhere, like global entry reimbursement, mid-level hotel status, and you're left trying to use awkward credits like Saks Fifth Ave, or $15 a month for Uber, et cetera, to try to recoup only a portion of the annual fee. To me, Platinums are only worth it for a year for the sign-up bonus and only worth keeping if you have $1 million with Morgan Stanley. What do you think about that, Greg? Like, first of all, do you have a Platinum card? And second,
I do.
Are they worth keeping for more than a year? And
if
they are, like, who's it worth it for?
So, I mean, Greg has
$550.
Greg has a great point. So I think he's right on all accounts that you have to kind of work hard to get the credits during normal years. Right now, they're making credits very easy to get, but during normal years, you have to kind of work hard to get your credits. They don't add up to the full. Well, I guess they could if you got all your Uber credits and your Saks credits and you value them fully. But in general, you're not going to be getting back the full annual fee. So you're paying something, probably hundreds of dollars net for this card. And so what does it get you? It's primarily, to me, I think that the primary value is around the airport experience, and that depends on where you live and where you fly out of. And right now, obviously, that's useless, but luckily they have given us other things in exchange. But so for someone who flies Delta a lot, you could get into the Delta Sky Club when you're flying. You have the Centurion lounges. So if you happen to either fly into or fly out of an airport that has Centurion Lounge, you get a lot of value from that because they have good food and drinks. And they have a couple other airline club access things. So like a couple other small groupings of airline clubs. So if you're in any of those places where it's covered, that's great. Priority Pass is not great with Amex. I mean, it has it, but it doesn't let you do the restaurants. So that, if that's your main thing is you want to get into Priority Pass lounges, I would look for a different card to get there, not the Platinum card. But I mean, I think that the Platinum card long term is worth it for someone who values those lounges. And there are other things you might value, but that to me is my guess of like the main driver for most people. There are other perks though that are valuable. But so anyway, so I'm guessing Greg doesn't value that, the lounge access aspect. Fair, totally fair. And so I guess what I'd say is I don't think that the Schwab approach is necessarily still out of the question for Greg, because he could do is build up membership rewards for several years and then sign up for the bonus for the Schwab card. And then he has a year to keep building up points and cash out before giving that card up. And then if he's, no, that's not true. I was going to say that if he has a spouse who can get a card in the future, he could do that again, but you can't move membership rewards points around. So he's got one chance to cash it out sort of for free, because the sign up bonus offsets the annual fee. But
yeah, no, more than offsets it.
But I absolutely agree with Greg's overall assertion, which is that that's a big downside to that overall approach of the getting 2x membership rewards and planning on cashing them out at 1.25 each, because yes, you need a big investment, which is that Schwab card.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think I've never had the personal platinum, which I should, because I should get the welcome bonus on each of them at some point, but I haven't yet. I wouldn't keep it long term because I don't find it to be worth $550 a year. Excuse me there. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you in general. There are perks that I like about the platinum cards. We still have a business platinum in my household that I intended to cancel this year and ended up keeping. And then, luckily these extra credits, because of the COVID situation, made that a worthwhile decision. But, I don't think I'll probably keep it long term. Love fine hotels and resorts. It's nice having some of the other ancillary benefits. But I think Greg's point that you likely get some of those benefits from another card is good. Do you think that I know you said that, if you live near a Delta Lounge or you live near a Centurion Lounge, the Platinum card is good. Is there a use case, do you think, and I guess the obvious answer is yes, but I'm still wondering your opinion, where the Platinum card is the only premium card that somebody would carry? Like, does it make sense for that to be the only premium card? Because I feel like if you already have the Sapphire Reserve, you got Priority Pass nailed down, you got Global Entry, you got, your National Executive Elite status, you got a lot of those little perks, and slightly better in some regards, and a card with easier to use annual travel credits, etc. Is there a use case for having only a Platinum card as your only premium or ultra premium card? Do you think that might make sense for people?
I think so. Why not? Yeah. So I think a great combo is have the is what we were just talking about. Have the 2x everywhere, Blue Business, Blue
Business Plus.
Blue Business Plus. I always say the name of this card wrong. Anyway. So I was actually about to say correctly, and I stopped myself because last week I said it wrong a couple of times. Or no, 2 weeks ago. Anyway.
So you think Blue Business Plus?
So if you had the 2x everywhere in your wallet for your spend, and then you have the Platinum card in your wallet for spend when you're out of the country because you don't want to pay a foreign transaction fee, and for all the perks, I think that's totally fair. I mean, I think the problem with Amex in general, you also need to have a Visa or MasterCard for all the places that don't accept them.
Right. Yeah, I mean, certainly for a lot of your international travels, you may need that. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm questioning the math on it, because they say, okay, the Blue Business Plus, yeah, it's 2x everywhere on up to $50,000 in purchases per year, and you have to pay $550 if you want to have the ability to cash that out at 1.25 cents each, right? So, it very highly depends on how much you value the other perks of the Platinum card as to whether it's worth paying that much to be able to cash out the points. So, because it's a finite number, it's not an uncapped card like Citi Double Cash is.
Right.
So,
I would not do that combination if that was my only purpose. Like, so if you didn't value the Platinum card on its own, I would totally just go with, a cashback card like the Bank of America Premium Rewards, or if what you want is transferable points, the Double Cash and the Citi Premier combo is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, for $95 a year an annual fee, I think that's a pretty strong combination.
Right, and the earning power is just great. 2x everywhere plus 3x restaurants, grocery, some other stuff.
All right, so we got to wrap this one up. But my lingering question coming out of that is going to be, that it does sound like a great combo. but is Chase not a better combo with a Sapphire Preferred and an Ink Cash? I mean, which
All
one's
right.
the better $95 combo? I think that's a
Let's
good
tackle
question.
that next week.
All right, sounds good. All right, well, I want to thank everybody for being out there and listening along with us. If you enjoyed what you've been listening to today and you'd like to check out more about what we're writing about The Frequent Miler, you want to get on our email list and check us out on Facebook, etc., you want to go to thefrequentmiler.com/subscribe. Again, that's thefrequentmiler.com/subscribe. Subscribe to our list and join our Facebook group, The Frequent Miler Insiders. Please don't forget to hit subscribe on this video if you're watching on YouTube. Give us a like. Leave us a comment. Leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you all very much. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.